Alright, what up guys? Dante Fido here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you my guide to the multiplayer attacker role. It's gonna be a pretty basic guide to all of the roles, just so you have a good idea as to what kind of party you should be looking for. Because I've seen that a lot of guides have been put out now for global version. Now that we're on to 4 stars, and in order to get the main 4-star rewards, you can't have any deaths. So now more than ever, parties need to know what the hell they're doing. You can't just cheese your way through 3 stars and dying a whole bunch and just using your Phoenix Downs like people were. You need to have a legitimate group now. Everybody needs to know their role, and they need to be able to do it well. So this is going to be a main focus guide on attacker, because that's what I mainly do. I'm an attacker, but I have the other roles as well. So I'm gonna briefly go over what each party should kind of have and what you should look for, and then I'll go deeper into what makes a good attacker and what you should be doing as an attacker. So let's start out here. First we'll actually start out with the healer. Or the support. So basically, this is my support, and as a support, what you get is pretty much you get area heals and boons, life orbs up, and your starting actions are up. Well, at least mine are anyway. So you have an increased chance of life orbs, so that you can heal the shit out of people, and all of your abilities heal and buff everyone. So then, as a support, you should be running 4 support cards. To start off with, you should have Knights of the Round. You can buy this out of the shop now, and I know it took me forever to get it, but you can buy it out of the shop now, so there's no reason to not be running Knights of the Round. This gives you attack up, magic up, and break power up, which is three of the best buffs in the game, basically. One card that does all 3 of those, that's insane. Moving on, you should probably be using a defense card. In my case, I'm using Lunafreya because it has Wall and it gives Snipe, which is crit up, and it gives you resistance to everything. Another good choice, or possibly even a better choice, would be Tyro. So you can get him right now. Tyro, he's a really good defense card. The better option, even from there, would be Hell's Gate, which just came out. If you don't have that, though, and as a free-to-play player, Tyro is definitely a good choice. Tyro is an amazing defense card. The main reason why I'm not running Tyro is for the sole reason that I'm using Cindy as well, which already gives you haste and defense. So I already have that covered. So I don't really need it to have Tyro. That's why I'm using Lunafreya instead, so that way I get sniped. And then you want Regalia, just so you've got Quicken, and it gives you a crap tons of turns. And this is something you're mainly going to see probably on your Breaker, but the ability to have the support give that as well is also really, really good. And especially for the fact that it only costs 2 orbs. Being able to just crank up everybody by a ton of turns, by a ton of actions the next turn, for only 2 orbs is pretty amazing. If you don't have, say, these cards, basically, because the only one guaranteed would be Knights of the Round. If you don't have Regalia, Lunafreya, or Cindy, you can use Hermes, I believe it is, instead. If you want to use Haste, then it's actually 5 turns, which isn't bad. Tyro, while he's still here, you want to use Tyro instead. If not, then you could use something like Fat Chocobo. And instead of Regalia, you could use something like... I don't know. What's a decent card? Let me check here. Let's just go healer. You could use something possibly like Kate Sith for some really, really good heals in case somebody gets hit pretty hard. You could use that. Or Carbuncle. Carbuncle is also a really good choice just for the regen. That's definitely something you'd probably want. But that's basically what you want to have on your healer. The main rule that you're looking for is, does your healer have Knights of the Round? If your healer does not have Knights of the Round, don't run with them, basically. He's not your friend. Because you only want to run with your friends. So, moving on, we'll go to the Defender role, which I don't really have anything good. I honestly don't play Defender. Ideally, what you'd want to be using is your Defender can possibly use a break card. In this case, I'm using Titan. Ideally, what you should be using there is probably Gladios or another taunt card if you have it. Taunts and debuffs are basically the main thing you want. I'm using Cloud because it gives you stun. A stun isn't bad either, really. Instead of using that Cloud card, what I should actually probably be using instead would be Wind. It would be not that. That's a mud card. Would be Arene, right here. For High Wind, it gives you a 3-turn stun, and it's a warrior card. That I should probably use instead, but I don't have it leveled up, and that's why I'm not doing it. But yes, that would totally be a better card to use. Otherwise, you could try to apply debuffs to the card, like Punishing Wind with Odin. Mainly, you want to have actual debuff cards, though. Like, another good choice if you don't have that would then be this, Nico Mata for stun. So, you could just straight drop that on someone. Let's go back here. And then going into the next role would be Breaker. As a Breaker, your main focus is breaking. So you should be using a BDD card, which in this case I'm using Death Gaze. Lowers defense against break. So you want to use a break defense down card. You want to use ideally Boost, which is Artemis. That's just pretty much a given. You just gotta have that. It's just like with a support not having Knights around. If you see your Breaker doesn't have Boost, there's a good chance he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I've got the poo-poo of the opposite element that we're fighting, which in this case for this week it's Ifrit, so then I would swap it out for something else, just because you want to use the elements enhanced onto your weapon, that way you do more break. And then Regalia, so that way you've got a ton of actions and you can just break in the next turn. And then now we will go to the main role here that we're talking, and that would be Attacker. So this is what my main job is as Attacker, and as the Attacker, you have 2 jobs. The first job is to get the yellow gauge all the way down to red. The Breaker can do that using cards like I mentioned here with Death Gaze, but honestly, his actions are better focused on being on auto attacks and getting orbs for everyone. You, as the Attacker, you should be the one getting down that yellow bar. And if you're using the right cards, it should only take 1 or 2 abilities. Most of the time, I can use probably just these 2 right here, save my main damaging card, and not even worry about it. Let me go into the what I'm using here in the deck thing. So you've already seen Earth Gaze for BDD. It's got a break power of 900 on it, which is pretty decent. And then I'm using Hanuman for Conquering Light, also has a break power of 900. Both very good cards for breaking, or at least getting the break gauge down anywhere. Hanuman has Conquering, and that lowers critical resist. So right off the bat, you're putting 2 debuffs on the opponent, and everyone else should just be completely unloading on them after that. And then the next thing that I'm using, my main thing, is Camelot. It's got an attack power of 1320. It's one of the most hardest hitting attacks in the game right now. It's Flame Strike. And you can get all of these cards out of the solo limit break event that's going on right now. So, my main thing, where's it at? Yes, this right here, the solo limit break event. You can get the main ingredients, yeah, or the pieces to all of the main target focus cards. Like, you can just sit there and farm those. That's actually what I already did. I don't even have a card that can technically use it yet, but I already have Emperor from Final Fantasy II leveled all the way up and completely maxed out, and I did not spend like any money on that. I managed to pull it at 4 stars, I farmed 3 Numas real quick, and then I just sat there and farmed the Dark Strike thing, and got it all the way maxed out. I don't even have a card that can use this. Technically, I could put it on Soldier First Class, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put it on Ninja when it comes out. So definitely go for that, because those are the hardest hitting cards in the game right now. As an attacker, your entire deck should revolve around those cards. And the main way you do that is, so I've got Fire for Camelot right here, and then you're going to enhance it with a shift card. Inugami is what I'm using for that. So when you use Inugami, you enhance fire by 3 turns, and you give yourself ability ignition ×2. So it increases the damage of that next attack by 50%. With this card, using that combo, I have easily hit the second damage cap of 999,999, like almost every single time. And then the thing about it is it hits the first card for that main target damage, and then it explodes and hits everything around it for another amount of damage. Usually it's half of what you just hit for. So if I'm hitting for 1 million with the first hit, the second hit is hitting for 500k. And in one attack, I'm pulling off 1.5 million damage. It's more than enough to one-shot pretty much anything that's in the game right now. So that's ideally the main thing you want to focus on when you're trying to do, when you're playing the attacker role. Because with these cards right here, like Rogue, who has a crit chance of that high, when you put, if you get crit bonus from Snipe or anything like that, or use Conquering Light, it's almost a guaranteed crit. And when it is a guaranteed crit, you're going to hit the damage cap pretty much every time. So that's ideally what you want to have. And I'm running that same build on Soldier First Class, so I've got Ixion for Conquering Ice, lower critical resist. I'm using Arden basically for break damage. And then I'm using Earth Strike, which is the same thing, just like Flame Strike. And then I'm using Earth Shift. So same thing, it just lets me completely dominate whatever I'm fighting, basically. Ideally, what I would probably want to do instead would be to swap out Gnome here from Earth Shift to Dark Shift and kind of put everything into this, because it does hit pretty decent. The fact that it has a 100% crit chance is really good. And you're using Buster Blade, which is giving you another 50%. So then you're rocking 100. I'm at 104% bonus crit damage on that, and it will always crit. The main thing about an attacker is your job is to do damage. That's what you do. You kill stuff. The breaker's gonna break it, and your job is to kill it. That's what you do. I can't tell you how many times I have seen people running Soldier First Class that are using Masamune instead, which I have right there. And it's like, okay, so you've got a Tune Chain, which isn't bad, but then you've got Reunion at 20%, and then you get Life Draw. And people are like, oh no, I need that for all of my friggin' life orbs and my reunion and all that shit. Okay, no you don't. What you need is the extra 50% on this, and then you use Arden, which already has a 100% crit chance, and then you blow people away with Arden. Like when I'm using Arden on this Soldier First Class, I easily hit between 200 and 300k every time I use his ability. So like there's so many times where I just sit there and I see people do stuff like that. It's like, okay, if you're using a card that has 100% crit chance on it, like Arden does, then use Buster Blade so you get an extra 50% damage. Don't just use Masamune because you want reunion orbs. That's not your job. Your orbs do not matter because you're using a shift card. You can use Kujata for Dark Shift and switch that, and then just sit there and spam Arden the whole time. If you're an attacker, you need to focus on one main element, and you need to use a shift card so you enhance that element, and then you have a crap ton of that element to just blow everything away. Going to what is now my next one here, which is my Occultist. It's the exact same thing that I'm doing here. So I've got Ultima for Fatal Stonida, lower critical resist. I've got Leviathan for Blizzard Impulse, which is lower break defense, BDD. And then I'm using Lassie Brand, which is hard hitting as crap. It only costs 3 orbs. And then to go with that, I'm using Chariot with Ice Shift maxed out. So it basically lets my Lassie Brand just sit there and hit crap for... I've actually honestly been able to hit the damage cap with Lassie Brand. And I just sit there and I spam the damage cap 4 times in a row. And I just completely melt whatever I'm fighting. Now the main reason why I'm using Lassie Brand is because the just like the Rogue, he does get 100% to all of his boosts, but I have him at 158% bonus damage on water. And that's because I'm doing this. I have everything set into water. So that's another huge thing I've seen people talk about where they're like, oh, custom panels are shit, they don't do anything. No. If you're an attacker, custom panels put into a specific element are the greatest thing in the world right now. Custom panels with enhanced elements are amazing. It's what's going to let you do all the damage that you need to be doing. So I've got it kind of balanced out. I've got it in a combination of magic and fire. That way, even when I switch builds, I can still do damage. Because I actually will switch out and use Earth Strike with Brothers on my Rogue and Gnome on... Gnome instead of Inugami on my Rogue as well, too. That way I can easily just swap out the build and I still do damage. And even on my Rogue, I'm managing to pull almost 800% magic. And nearly 900% on my Occultist. So, that's kind of the main thing. It really depends, ideally, what you want to focus on. As a free-to-play player, you're definitely going to want to focus on a main strike card with a main strike damage card of an element that your guy has a really high affinity for. In this case, I picked water, or fire for my rogue. A CRD card for critical resist down, and then a BDD card for break defense down. And those are going to be your two main abilities that get rid of the yellow bar. And then you just want to save up orbs and just dominate whatever it is you're fighting once it's actually broken. So I was actually going to use Kajuta instead of Ice Shift. And then get the Cloud of Darkness for the Panaja card. Or Panja. And just go straight full dark on this guy. But I actually managed to pull the Record Keeper card right off... earlier this month, and then I got all those water enhancements, and I was like, well, screw this shit. I'm going to go Ice Shift instead, and we're going to boost the crap out of the C brand and just make it that much more powerful. And the thing is that I have hit the damage cap with the C brand on this, and it's only at 4 stars right now. Next week, when we get Shiva, you're going to be able to make it 5 stars, and it's just going to become that much more powerful. Like, I can't even imagine how much stronger this is going to be. I'll probably make a video just showcasing how powerful this card is on the Occultist. So, that's pretty much it. That's the gist of how you want to be an attacker. And I can't really, like, talk all this stuff and say, hey, this is definitely the way you need to play, without at least showcasing some of it. So, I'm going to see if I can find a game, get into it, and I'm going to go step by step and explain my thought process and what exactly I'm doing and why I'm doing it in the fight as it happens. That way you know how to be an attacker. Because there's so many times I see attackers go in, because I've got a decent support deck. I've honestly supported 4 stars a ton, and I always see attackers mess stuff up, and I'm like, dude, we could have killed the boss by now. So I'm gonna try to find a 4-star match here, and I'll show you guys my exact thought process and everything and what you need to do as an attacker in order to just dominate 4 stars and anything else you're fighting, pretty much. So I will be right back. I'll show you guys that.
No holding back! You will lose. Come on! March bravely. Be shattered by waves of magic.
You guys kick ass!
Let's hit it. Ready to die? Just for you! come.
I'll go first. I'll show you how blades work. For you.
prophecy.
You guys kick ass.
I got more after this. I got some more, because I just leveled up, so I got double. No, you went assassin. And Oppress has Aerith too, so. Oh man. Just think if our whole team had Aerith, we would just like troll every single one of these. Oh yeah. You gotta love it when it's like that. And 0 damage. 0 damage, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting hit at once, Dante. I get to hit it once, alright? Oh, save your... Okay, I'll save it too. Fuck. See ya. I know this next song is gonna make you guys think of freaking what is it? What's it called? Goddamn Guitar Hero. I almost lost it there. Blech. Man, we beat that first boss in 2 minutes. That's hilarious. Dude, I'll say if we beat this in sub 4 minutes, I will laugh my ass off. I doubt it, but still, that shit is funny. Shit, I'm locking in with that. Oh my gosh, if we beat this, like, oof. Finish it. Oh god. Ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna go up on my highlight post right here. Sub 5 minute, 5 minute Ifrit, 4-star. Because I'm gonna finish it right here. The sub 5 minute 4-star.